I think we're a little bit wonky, but it's okay. I'm like balancing the camera right now. Happy New Year. I think that's the first time I've said this in this video. I can't quite believe that 2026 is upon us already. I look a little bit more presentable right now because I filmed my books that I read in 2025 video this morning. I am currently surrounded by books. Like, if you could see what it looks like where I'm sat right now, I have like literally just like books and books and books just piled at the side of me. I also have books on this side of me because these are my current reads that I'm going to talk about in a second. I just thought because it's a brand new video, it's a brand new year, I would just come and talk whilst I looked a little bit more presentable than I usually do. I found with the videos last year, I struggled talking to the camera, not in a general sense, but just in how I wanted to address the camera. I am aware now, I mean, I've uploaded a couple of the videos as I'm filming this. I am aware that there are still people out there who are watching them, and that's completely fine. So I feel like going forward, it makes sense to address on a more wider basis. However, the intention of the videos is still the same, for me to just make and upload what I want to upload and document the things that I would like to look back on. But I am still just playing it on like a we'll see how it goes basis, and each month is different, you know, it just depends what I've filmed, what I want to put in, what I want to look back on. I keep catching my nails in the viewfinder because I painted them for the first time in a long time, but what's funny is I wanted to do some nail art, but I didn't have any nail art brushes, so I used an old lip liner brush to put the stripes on. They're very DIY, not very good, but for someone who didn't have a nail art brush, I don't think they're too bad. I was going to talk about my reading. I think I mentioned it in the December video. This camera battery is literally about to run out. I'm currently making my way through the 3 books that I started in December, or that I was reading in December but didn't get finished before 2026. The battery died and I've probably moved ever so slightly. I feel like I should just mention at the beginning of the video, my reading goal that I've set on Goodreads for this year is 12 books. I did write a post on my book blog about why I've set it to 12 books, and my reasoning for it is this year I'm going to try and have a reading year where I don't feel like I'm chasing a number. And by setting the goal as 12, that works out to be 1 book a month. And that for me is very doable. I'm not going to be in the frame of mind of like, oh, I've read 1 book this month, so I don't need to read anything else. Or I've read 12 books, so now I can stop. I'm just going to keep going. Going back to what I was saying before about these monthly vlogs, the intention in the new year is still to have them kind of document memories and things that I'd like to look back on. But sometimes life is quiet. There's not always something going on. So generally they probably will be not book heavy, but they will feature book related things. This is what I was saying about not knowing how to address the camera. When I used to make content, it was a case of like filming everything. Whereas now, that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to put in the bits that I want to put in. So then sometimes I feel like I ramble about nothing, and then I come to edit it and I'm like, just cut that out. Like, you don't need that in. So when it comes to like starting clips, ending clips, it feels so awkward because I'm like so used to what I used to do, but that's not what I'm trying to do now. So I'm still getting into like a routine with it, but oh my goodness, Momo. What is it? I'm about to put my shoes on and my coat and head out. but I thought I would just quickly mention something whilst I looked a bit more presentable than I typically do. The thing that I wanted to mention is book related, because when is it not? I started a new book yesterday. I only got the first chapter of it read, and I didn't really have any plans to actually speak about this book. It was gonna kind of just be one of the ones that is like a filler book. What I mean by that is because it's very short and I off the bat don't really have anything to say about it, I just thought that I would kind of read it and then speak about it in a wrap up. However, I thought I would just mention it for a couple of reasons. I decided to pick this book up whilst I'm still reading The Binding by Bridget Collins, because I just felt like I really needed a carefree book, and for me the standout genre for that is romance. This is Three's a Crowd by Christy McKellen. Now what's funny about this is I had never heard of it, and the reason that I actually own this is The Works was selling books for £1 a couple months ago, and I decided to pick this book up from them. So it only cost me £1 when I bought it. I'd never heard of it, didn't really know anything about it, and I decided to pick it up because I'm always looking for like books I've never heard of that kind of really take me by surprise. So I decided to give this one a go. The past couple of days when I've not been feeling too great and I've just wanted a really carefree read, I decided that this would be the one that I would sacrifice because it does have like a romance element. I read the back of it to refresh my memory of what it's actually about, and I was a little bit apprehensive because at the bottom it says, discover the must-have super spicy friends to lovers read from Christy McKellen. I don't look for spice in books, so I am a little bit apprehensive about that. I am a bit concerned as to how that's going to play out in the book, but I'm actually going out now, so that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to mention that I am reading this book, but I can't seem to find it anywhere, like on Goodreads or anything, so it won't feature on Goodreads. I'm going to make some posts about it on my book blog, and I'll write a review for it on my book blog, as I plan to do with all of the books that I read this year. But in terms of actually tracking it on Goodreads, I'm afraid I physically can't do that because I can't find it. So I think it only came out in 2024, so it's still, this paperback edition was published in 2025, so it was only last year. So it's not even that long that it's been published, so who knows? I don't really know what. The lighting in this clip is probably a little bit blue toned because the sun hasn't quite finished rising yet, so the tone is a little bit off, and I've got the room light on because it was so dark in here. Also, my hair lately is giving if Hagrid was a 29-year-old blonde. I finished the bulk of the editing of the December video a couple of days ago, and as I'm filming this clip, the December video isn't uploaded onto my channel. But something that I said to myself, I started the videos in September, so I said to myself from September to December, that was 4 videos that gave me a chance to see if I wanted to continue making these videos, and I obviously do. That's why I'm making this one. But something that I learnt with the first 4 monthly videos is that sometimes for myself, when I was like editing them and stuff, they started to feel a bit repetitive, and I don't want that to happen. That's not the purpose of these videos. I originally started making these videos again to document memories, and that is the sole purpose of what I want to do with them. The problem with that is I don't do things all the time, and that's fine. That's completely fine. That's life. That's reality. Obviously that's going to have an effect, so I am saying to myself that I can just put in the everyday things that I would also like to remember, and a lot of the time that involves my reading, because, you know, there are times where I would like to be able to go back and see how I felt about a book and things, but obviously I'm now bringing back the book videos, like the monthly wrap-ups. So I also don't want to get too repetitive with that either, like saying it in the monthly video and then making an actual video about it. I do just want to give a book update in the video for myself to remember. I'm currently reading Three's a Crowd by Christy McKellen. I have been making my way through this. I'm on page 83, which is chapter 7. It's not a very long book, it's 200 and something pages long, 228 pages long. So not a very big book. I would actually like to finish this weekend. Today is Saturday. And I have actually been writing down how much I've read each day for a reading week TikTok, a what I read in a week TikTok, because there was a little bit of discourse around, when I say a little bit, I mean like literally one comment, about my Christmas one that I made, which is completely fine, but I got a comment on it of someone saying if I'm a slow reader then they're completely off the chart or something like that, because they didn't think that my reading was slow. And to be fair, in my Christmas week my reading wasn't that slow. I was reading quite a lot because I was reading a Christmas book and I was so engrossed in it. But my reading's not always like that, and I would class myself as a slow reader for numerous reasons. I think I'm actually going to write a post about it on my book blog. When I started documenting my reading on TikTok in the What I Read in a Week, I wanted to be honest about my reading, and in a couple of the first ones that I made, I had a couple of days where I didn't read anything. I just like the cohesive feel of all of them being a week in a slow reader and not being like a week in a slow reader, but this week I'm a fast reader. I just call all of them a week in a slow reader, even though some weeks my reading isn't that slow. But that's the point. The point is to show that it changes. You know, it's not always the same, it just depends. I have been documenting my reading for this. My What I Read in a Weeks go from Monday to Sunday, so there's 2 more days left. I have had a couple of days of no reading just because I haven't been in the right headspace for it. It's very strange to explain, because a lot of the time when you're not in the right headspace you think, I'm just going to sit and read my book because it's nice and calming. But I was having a bit of a wobble time, and that meant that sitting down to read my book was quite difficult because I was in the quiet and I could get into my own head, and I didn't want to do that. So I didn't pick up my book when I was having those moments, but that's completely fine. Like I said, I'm on page 83, so I'm coming up to halfway through the book. The book is just over 200 pages. I'm just under 100 pages in. The reason that I wanted to come and mention this book very quickly, even though this has turned into a 10-minute ramble, is when I first picked this book up, I searched for it on Goodreads to add it to my tracker and my reading count for the year, and it didn't come up. I searched the title, I searched the author, it didn't come up. It said that it couldn't find anything, it didn't exist. So I continued on reading this book in the frame of mind that it wouldn't be on my Goodreads, but I could put it in like my book journal, I could talk about it on my book accounts, so I had some documentation of it. And then I mentioned something about it on my book blog, and someone said, you know, I'm interested to know what this book is, that it's not on Goodreads. And I had a moment to myself and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to just Google the book and see if anything comes up about, like, you know, maybe they're not printing it anymore, or, you know, just things like that. So I Googled this book, and guess what happened? The Goodreads page came up. So I don't know what happened when I searched for it on Goodreads, like on the app, because it didn't come up. It said it couldn't find it. But when I Googled it and I was like looking through the like things that popped up, one of the things that popped up was the page for the book. So I have added it to my Goodreads now. It's on there. It will count towards my Goodreads goal, which is quite interesting. I've not really known that to happen, like a book not to come up but then it actually be there. I don't know. Maybe it was just like a little bit of a glitch. I don't know. I think I was sat here in the last clip. It's my new favourite place to sit because it's brighter and whatnot when I'm just talking to the camera. I just got ready for the day because I am going to be going out soon. I'm meeting a friend for a coffee. I just need to put my rings on. I've just realised I haven't put them on. And my ears are very red because I've just been trying to see to these earrings. So I bought them in a pack of 2, this one and then a bigger size, and I wanted to wear the bigger one, but I realised that the back is broken on it. Now it's all fine and well because I did only pay £1 for them from Primark. I like to buy what I call costume jewellery as like filler jewellery, if that makes any sense. So like earrings like this I don't wear all the time, but these earrings I do wear all the time, like the smaller ones. So the smaller ones, because I wear them all the time, I don't really take them out. I take them out every so often to like clean them and things, but I don't take them out all that much. I pay more for them so that I can keep them in. They're not going to tarnish in the shower. They're not going to send my ears funny. I pay a bit more for them. These types that I just wear to match my outfit and to match the vibe are just costume jewellery. I pay cheaper prices for them from Primark, but the bigger pair that I wanted to wear, the back is broken, so I'm gonna go back and have a look for some more. I only paid £1 for them, technically 50p for each pair of earrings, so I'm really not that bothered in terms of my money. I did actually buy them for the bigger pair. I have come to the realisation, I sort of noticed it last year with my reading, but I really have come to the realisation that I think I'm in my romance era. I think romance for me is the genre that's really taking my reading right now. I'm really enjoying reading it. I'm really enjoying picking it up. And with my little wobble recently, my little mental health wobble, I just wanted to read books were carefree, really. I do have numerous books on my bookshelves that require more from me as a reader, and I am still really anticipating reading them and getting round to them, but the timing just wasn't right. And I was struggling to sit down and read with the books that I was currently reading because they were the type of book that requires a little bit more from me as a reader. What I decided to do recently is I decided to pick up the next book in the Dream Harbour series, The Strawberry Patch Pancake House. This is book 4. I read the first 3 last year. I did speak about them in my 2025 reading wrap-up video. I read the first 3 last year, never intended to really get into the series. Always sort of intended for it to be a casual thing of like, I'll get round to it when I get round to it. A lot of people aren't going to like it, but I am hooked on this series. I need to keep reading it. I'm really enjoying reading these books at the minute. The reason that I wanted to mention it and talk about how I think romance is the thing for me right now is I was plodding along with my current reads whilst I was having my little wobble, and I was reading like 10 pages at a time, sometimes even less, and I was just plodding along, and I was saying to myself in my own head, I could get another book read, like I know that I could, before January ends, because like I said, this series of books has really taken over for me. I'm really enjoying reading it, think of that what you will. And this is the next one in the series that I've got up to, so I was like, I'm gonna pick up this book. And I've almost finished it, and I only started it not yesterday, the day before, I think it was, a couple of days ago. Yesterday, was it yesterday? No, it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before that. Was it that day? Yeah, I think it was. A couple of days ago, I sat down to read this book and I read 160 pages, I think it was, in a day, which to some people will just be like an average, a standard. My point that I'm making is with all of the other books that I've tried picking up recently, I was just plodding along, and with this one it just flew by, like it just went past so quick, and I'm feeling so much more positive about my reading and the way that I'm approaching it, of like not chasing a number, dare I say it, think this might be my favourite one of the series so far. Apparently I really like to sit here now when I'm filming. So I actually came to end this video because there is still a couple of days left of January, but I don't really plan on filming anything over the next few days for the rest of the month, like over the weekend. It's the first on Sunday, I believe. I'm actually going to be redecorating. I'm going to be decorating my new room, which is very exciting. I had to call into the shop on my way back home, and whilst I was in there I picked up a notebook. Hello, Movie Moo. I picked up a notebook. You can just see her in the corner. Hi, Moo. From the pound shop, and it's just this cheap notebook. I think it was like £2. I have and ahed as to whether I'm going to do this online or physically, and I think, at least for the time being, I'm going physical rather than digital. I wanted to document all of the things that I watch this year. Now, when I say all of the things that I watch, I don't mean like every individual episode of a program or things like that. I just mean like one of the things that I have in my sort of New Year's resolutions is I want to make more of an effort. Like if I see that there's a film on at the cinema and I want to go and see it, I'm going to make more of an effort to go and see it, because usually I just kind of say to myself like, oh, I'll get round to seeing it. But you know, it's all part of the experience, like going to see it when it first comes out at the cinema and all of that kind of stuff. And because I wanted to make more of an effort with that, because I am emphasising building up my physical media collection with my DVDs, like I got a few at Christmas. There are some things that come on the TV that emphasise watching. All of those things I want to make a document of. And this was why I and ahed about whether to do it digitally or physically, because I feel like digitally the emphasis is on films, which is completely fine, but that's not the only thing that I want to document. When it comes to things like DVDs, I did have to think about it a little bit, because I was like, obviously with a DVD I have the potential to watch it all the time. Like I can put it on whenever I want because it's right there. So when it comes to me buying and reviewing the DVDs that I own, I think I'm going to put it in the first time I watch it and kind of review it that way. And then obviously if I watch it another, say, 7 times in the year, it won't feature the other 7 times. It will just be in the original time. It's so funny because one of the first things that I think I'm going to put in here, because I didn't have this when I watched it, but I watched it and I really want to, like, I think I would enjoy kind of reviewing it, is Corriedale. If anyone is a soap watcher who happened to stumble upon this video, if you watched Corriedale, that was absolute cinema for soap watchers. Like, absolute cinema, absolutely perfect. The soaps are absolutely ruining themselves since that. It's not living up to it. But the actual Corriedale episode was chef's kiss. I believe as well the actual episode is on YouTube, so I can go and watch it back and refresh my memory of what actually happened in it. The final thing that I'm just going to mention before I end this video, because I'm going to go and do a couple little jobs that I need to do ready for decorating the bedroom this weekend. I started a new book yesterday. I started reading Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. I said that I wanted to read purely romance in February, and this book features a romance. So I thought I would pick this book up now, because even if I don't get it finished before February, it will lead me into February very nicely with reading the romance books. January was a bit of a strange month, because even though my routine and everything was the same, I felt like I was still getting used to the structure and everything that I had going on. So I am planning to continue making these. Yeah, like I said, I make these purely for myself, but if you've stumbled upon it and watched it, thank you for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't really know how to address that in these videos, because the footage and the things that I put in are because I know I would want to watch it back. Yeah, I'm just going to stop rambling, because I'm literally just continuously going around in circles.